Chapter 2.
And we're back with the Star Wars CCG extravaganza, bonanza. I don't even know what the show is called, but we're back. And thanks for watching. And this week's theme, top 5 things I personally love about Star Wars CCG Hoth expansion, and top 5 things I don't really like about the Hoth expansion. There's so many things to love. So coming up with the dislikes is kind of hard. And again, comment below. Win a starter deck. Just anything you want. Put your favorite thing about Hoth or least favorite thing about Hoth. I'd love to hear from you. Had some great comments this week. And before we get started into the list, was doing a little brainstorming this Christmas season with my brothers who are back in town, and we thought it would be great to have a little bracket tournament that everyone can participate in that watches the video of the Super Hunks of the Empire. What is Super Hunks of the Empire? It's a 16 seed bracket of Imperial officers that are minor-ish characters in the movie. No Vader, no Emperor, but you can't have Han either because he's going to win the whole thing. Just Imperial officers. And each week you're going to vote on them, and in 5 weeks we'll go from 16 to 8 to 4 to 2, and then we'll have the reigning king crowned of who is the Super Hunk of the Empire. So I'll have a link below. Please vote every week. It's going to be hilarious. We'll see who wins. So I'm just going to go over the seeds pretty quickly. And for the first week, we have the number 1 seed, Captain Piet, versus Officer McKay, 16 seed. You got 2nd seed, Veers, versus Officer Evax. 3rd seed, Sexy Captain Nita, versus Casillas. 4th seed, Mahdi, versus Lieutenant Venka in 13th seed. 5th seed, Admiral Ozzel versus Captain Lennox. 6th seed, General Tag versus Lieutenant Pole. 7th seed, Lieutenant Grand Moff Tarkin versus Colonel Dreyer, you rebel scum. And 8th seed, Jajerov versus the sexy, the wonderful Chief Bast. It's going to be a close one, and we are all excited to see you win, so please vote, and we'll have the results next week for who makes it to round 2. Also, you could comment below which officers didn't make the cut. I tried to make the cut based on nice little 70s haircuts. Nice. Well, you'll just vote. We'll see who wins. We'll see who wins. Without further ado, let's get into the top 5 things about Hoth. Let's start off with what we love about Hoth. The top 5 things I personally love about Hoth. And let me say, there are so many things I love about Hoth. Probably one of my favorite sets of all time. It's just such a cool set. Echo Base Operations, one of my favorite things about Hoth. It's basically the first real objective. It's got a clear thing. Hey, you got to get 3 Echo sites on table, and you have to occupy them. And then it's not a ground deck. It focuses on space, so you have to have a lot of layers to make this thing work. And it really pays off. The Force Drains +2, Power +3 in battles. And it gives the chance for the Imperials to counter it, too. So it's just not a one-sided effect. Plus, it was before there was any Force Drain cancelers, before Imperial Decree was a thing or anything. So this thing was a monster. The only problem was pulling locations, which I think Star Wars had a big problem with that until Special Edition, besides the Jabba's Palace pull location and Dagobah location, the Dagobah system location, were the only 2 locations that let you pull until Special Edition. So pulling locations is a huge problem for this deck, but I love the theme of this card. Echo Base Operations, number 5. Number 4, thing I love about Hoth is the walkers in general. Gosh, they're nice. They have that immune to attrition. I think that's great. Star Destroyers, as we talked about previously, never had that immunity attrition. None of them did, so you just lose them so easily. All these Blizzard 1, Blizzard 2 had the immunity to attrition. The non-unique had immunity to attrition. Sure, less than 4. Is it too weak? I don't know. They deploy for 6, and they have a huge power. I love the Blizzard, the AT-ATs, and the pictures on all of them are just amazing. The fact that they are slow and have the 1 land speed, and the high armor, and it really moves away from the mains. It's the first time a card has really been really powerful that wasn't a main. If you think about it, all the other times anything pushed any high power besides a main was Power 8 Ability 1 in Premier, and then there was Hunchback, who was Power 4 Ability 1.5. Other than that, there hadn't been really any huge power cards. You got your Chewie, and then you got your Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. So this is a great move for having land. Just have something besides the main. And plus, the cards are just amazingly cool to look at anyway. Third thing I just adore about Hoth is I love the Ice Storm. Each side has the Ice Storm. It's very thematic. It goes right along with the set. It says, hey, you know, we're on Hoth. Sure, you can have characters walking around, but, you know, they're going to be missing. I'll talk about missing and things I don't like about the set, but I love the idea of having this mobile effect, and you have to be aware of it, and you can avoid it, and it adds an interesting game dynamic. It's very easy to understand. You just deploy it, it moves each turn, and oh crap, I better get my characters out of the way, or else if they're at the outermost marker, they're just gone. So you got to be very careful. If you are Imperial and you deploy to the 4th, 5th marker, and that's the outermost marker, you better get them moving quickly to the interior just in case they have the Ice Storm. And even then, it's going to be chasing you. Very thematic. I like the idea behind it. Forces you to kind of do the speeder, the walkers, or you could get crazy and not do that. And it really punishes main decks. I like that it punishes the mains. So the second favorite thing about Hoth that I love, personally, Ozzel is one of my favorite cards of all time. First of all, he's one of the greatest characters and minor characters in Star Wars. So many great lines. He's clumsy as he is stupid. He's failed Vader for the last time. Great flavor text. And I think he is so balanced in the most bizarre way. Deploy for 0, forfeit 4. Oh, that's way too good. That Destiny 0, how many people here have drawn Ozzel in a Destiny and it's just shattered them? You see it, it's like, oh, character. It's a 1 or a 2. And nope, it's a 0. It just shatters you. It's punishing. But that's the price you get for your free Ozzel. Plus, immediately lost if Vader on table and opponent reacts to the same location. So, he's not that great, but he's so good early game. Just a great concept in general. I think Legs, I forget the Legs name from Premier, the light side Legs, deploy for 0, forfeit 5, was the only other deploy for 0 card. And really, there are not a lot of deploy for 0 cards in Star Wars CCG, unless they have a deploy as a react for free, etc. But just straight up deploy for 0. Love it. I like his ability. 2 is about accurate for him. Power 3. He's just a well-balanced card. Great picture. Can't get enough of the Ozzel. Love him. So, my favorite thing about Hoth, and you know, I'm not even cracking the surface of Hoth here. The things I love about the show is the aesthetics. My number one thing about Hoth is the aesthetics. You have your iconic Commander Luke card, just beautiful. You have Piet. Just the card, Piet's card is amazing. And then other Veers, and you have the Stalker, the Tyrant, Rogue 1, 2, 3. You got Hobby, you got Dak, you got Zev, you got all these cool iconic characters, and you got the cool droids, and it all is so thematic and it's so white. The packs, look at the packs. The packs just look amazing. The box looks great. Everything about this set is just aesthetically pleasing, and I think that's why I purchased so much of this set when I was younger, and I still do. It was when I was collecting the sets, it was the first one I collected in totality, just because of how much I loved the set. But all in all, great, aesthetically pleasing. Anakin's lightsaber, super cool card. So many cool cards, all kind of fit together. Very thematic, very lot more useful cards in Hoth ratio than there were in New Hope. That's for sure. Top 5 things I don't care about for in Hoth. And let's just say I say this with all respect and tact and love I can possibly have, because I love Hoth. But the one thing I don't like is the dark side locations. Light side has the main power generators. Why doesn't the dark side have a main power generators? They absolutely need it if they are trying to, because most light side decks won't run a main power generators just because of the fact you can blow it up. But if the dark side wants to blow it up, they have to run a Veers, a Blizzard one, a AT-AT targeting computer, a AT-AT cannon, etc. You have to commit like 10 cards to destroy the main generators. Why not have a dark side version of this? Just have it be the exact same card in the dark side. Very simple fix. You could even have the light side, 2 for you, none for them. It's a little weak with the 1 force icon for the light side. So the light side could be 2 for you, none for them. Dark side could be 1 for you, none for them. There's a lot of things you could do, but just have it so the dark side can destroy it if the light side isn't gonna play or has a space deck. There's so many things that could happen. It opens up a lot of thematic strategies too. This is part of the same thing. Dark side locations in general in Hoth are lacking. There is only one battleground on Hoth, and it's the 3rd marker. It's a great battleground, force drain +1, and adds 1 to each destiny, but why isn't there a 2nd marker for the dark side? Or why is the 4th marker 1 force for them, none for the rebels? Just make it a battleground. There's nothing wrong. You could have 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd all be battlegrounds, and it would punish the rebels if they didn't want to play. You could just drain them there. Now the only way to drain them is if you play Walker Garrison, some gimmicky deck where you drain them for +2 wherever walkers are, and it's kind of it's not conducive to battles. I like being able to drain on places that you can battle at, and it would kind of build up to the generators too if you included the generators in the set. So that's the big thing. That first thing I notice is the locations for the Imperials or the dark side are kind of lacking in Hoth. A few more. So number 4. I don't care for this. I don't care for missing. What is missing? Why would you have a missing mechanic? Just make the character lost. I understand the premise behind it. They're missing. You can get them back. But in the Star Wars game, a lot of times they kill your mains and you just deploy them again. They're only really considered lost if they're out of play, like actually out of the game. Why not just make the character lost? It would clear up a lot of rules. You wouldn't have to get a search party. You wouldn't have to go every time I have a lost character. We got to pull out that rule book and read it because I forgot the rules. We draw Destiny. I forget. It's just another convoluted rule, in my opinion, that could have just been character lost. Maybe you would have to tweak a few cards, like he hasn't come back yet, might have needed a nerf. If that was the case, it's already a really good card, actually. But it wouldn't have been that unrealistic to say, hey, your character's outside at Hoth. Yeah, if I draw Destiny greater than 2, he's lost because he's not in a vehicle. That's not unreasonable. It makes sense. I don't care for the lost mechanic. Number 3 is it's not exposure. It's nighttime conditions in general. There are 8 cards in Hoth that reference nighttime conditions. So, thematically, it's very cool. Okay, my character's lost under nighttime conditions. XYZ happens under nighttime conditions. There's some cool effects. There's 8 cards that have things you can do with nighttime conditions. Here are the problems with that. First, there is no pulling locations right now. So, to put out nighttime conditions, you have to deploy it on Hoth. That can be a problem. You'd probably have to start out with Hoth the system as your starting location. Okay, then you put nighttime conditions out. All right, then you have to put the planet locations out. Then they have to put characters there. There's a lot of steps to make these 8 cards work. And here's the biggest kicker. You just throw in an altar in your deck, and the nighttime condition is gone. Altar was so overpowered until Dagobah, actually probably until starting effects came out where you could put there is no try or do not as your starting interrupt. They were so overpowered that it really limited strategies. All these cool cards, it's like you just sense them, you just alter them. Like nighttime conditions, if you see nighttime conditions on Hoth, you immediately alter it because you know they're going to do some shenanigans. So I like the nighttime conditions theme, but I don't like how many cards it wastes just based on the fact of how situational it is. It wasn't really necessary. So, number 2. The probe droid. I think they could have done... I think the probe droid is a little lacking. First off, the first sentence right there gets you. May deploy only if a Star Destroyer on table. Okay, so you really can't deploy him until at least turn 3 or 4, because who gets a Star Destroyer that early? And then, what do? They really don't do anything that great. Sure, they can be battled in Force Drain. They're power 2. That's about it. They got high forfeit, 2 destiny, and they're a spy. But other than that, they're a big pain in the butt to put out. You could have just... I would say, if I was going to change something, I would get rid of the whole... Everything up until maybe battled, and maybe may Force Train and initiate battle and be battled. I'd make some whole new text up. Just get rid of the whole thing and just have them deploy whenever. They're not overpowered. A power 2, deploy for 2, forfeit 5 with 0 ability. I think the Star Destroyer is a little disappointing, because I remember trying to play these in a deck so many times, trying to make theme decks out of Probe Droids. Never worked. Except in a ISB deck, which lets them deploy for any without restrictions. Anyway, moving on. So the number one thing I don't like about Hoth, and again I say this with most love, it's not the general I hate. I just dislike how weak he is. And there's about 4 or 5 different unique rebels that are extremely weak, that they could have made way stronger. Why not make him Carlos Recan? I don't even know how to say his name, but I love the character in the movie. Why not just make him a power 3, ability 3, and make his game text a little bit stronger? Can we move away from the mains, please? He's a minor character. Just make him deploy for 0 like Oswald, or have him have a gimmick. I can't remember all the names of... there's the spy with the power 1, ability 2. There's 2 or 3 people with power 1, ability 2 that are really bad, unique rebels that were uncommon or rare in Hoth. So that's my least favorite thing about Hoth, is the weakness of the unique rebels. Even Commander Luke is kind of weak compared to other things. Could have done a little more, but I say that with all love. I love Hoth. You guys, comment below. Tell me what your favorite thing is about Hoth, what your least favorite thing is. I would love to hear from you. You guys have been doing great comments. And there you have it. So, let's talk about last week's video. So, I had a lot of great comments about Jabba's Palace. We'll just go over a few. Jabba's Palace is great for a budget. Yeah, they had way too much of the set printed. Another person's comment was, hey, they printed way too much stuff and they pushed it on us with Jabba's Palace sealed decks in the 3rd anthology, all over the Reflections pack. I think they did print too much because it's everywhere, and I think I have so many extra Jabba's Palace cards. And so it's great for a budget, but also a curse if you're looking to get other sets. So another comment was GIMP pulls locations now for some old sealed formats, solving the problem of having to have like a Jabba's Palace location to pull a location. I didn't know that about GIMP for the old formats. That's cool. A few people said their favorite cards are all too easy. Klatooini Revolutionaries. You're not saying that right. Ephantmon, Nick Tuss. I love those guys. Plotting to kill Jabba in everybody's lore. I completely forgot. I looked over that, and that is some of the best flavor text lore out there. Everybody's plotting to kill Jabba. Just only Leia can do it. They should have put that in hers. Maybe it is. Anyway, also the unique Jawas. I had a couple comments. Yes, they are useful. They have their uses. You can make a Jawa deck. I've actually got schooled by a few Jawa decks with the unique Jawas. R2 with Heroes of 1,000 Devices, and Barkwind, just retrieval. That's crazy deck. That's a great idea. Very, very creative. And some Sabak was getting some love. Oh, stupid Sabak. Yeah, it's fun. I played a few games of Sabak in the Star Wars CCG, and it's been fun. But it's just another one of those barriers for new players. Okay, I can see the angle where you like it. Anyway, let's get to the starter deck drawing. Let's see who wins the starter deck. So, here we go.
Here's some money. Go see a Star War.
Devin Hickey, you're the big winner. Congratulations. So maybe you other folks can win this week. Just comment below, and you never know. Maybe next week, and we'll talk about your comments next week, and we'll see who won the Super Hunks bracket, because everybody's going to be talking about it, and you know it. So thanks again, and we'll see you soon. Bye.